There are 100 days left in this year, 2020. What are you going to do with them? How are we going to close 2020, this crazy year, even stronger? Hi, I'm Maggie Anderson. Many of you may know me or have heard of me because of my book, Our Black Year, which is the story of my family's famous stand living exclusively off Black-owned businesses for an entire year. And you don't have to know me or my story to know that that was a major sacrifice. My children went without clothes, fresh produce and meats, milk. We were threatened. We got hate mail, horrible things they said and still say about me and my little girls online. And all those wonderful businesses we loved and lived off that year, they're gone now. My mother, Luisa Maria Palacios, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer just before we took that year-long stand. And she suffered the whole year through just so that she could live long enough to see her baby girl carry out this important pledge. She died in my arms just 1 month after we finished our year. I spent the last year of her life fighting for this, for us, instead of being with her. But as painful as that year was, it was even more powerful. My family made history that year. We proved with our stand and the Kellogg study that resulted from it that 1 million new American jobs could be created. We could curb crime, poverty, our neighborhoods would be cleaner and safer, and our community could be more prepared for and could actually protect itself from the racist systems, structures, and stereotypes. If just some of us would buy Black a little bit more, everything would change. So now, 10 years later, after our year, I'm hoping we can make history again. And I don't think it'll take a whole year to do it. I think we can do it in 100 days. And this time, my family and I can't do it alone. 2020, after the murder of George Floyd and the deaths of civil rights icon like Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg and my former boss, Congressman John Lewis, this year, 2020, has become about activism and justice and community. Their deaths have lit a spark. Folks are thinking about buying Black and about economic equality and reparations. But this fight for economic empowerment and justice, this isn't new. Did you know that over 90% of the thousands of lynchings of Black people that happened during Jim Crow were of business owners? Tulsa, one of the centers of Black business excellence in the early 1900s, a center of prosperity for Black people. Racists bombed and burned that beautiful Black Wall Street down in the 1920s because our right to entrepreneurship and prosperity, the American dream, just had to be denied and destroyed. These businesses and our supporting them was always at the core of Black collective progress. That's why the businesses were attacked, and that's why we need these businesses back. King grew up seeing Black-owned businesses and professionals thriving. He was surrounded by our entrepreneurial excellence and our economic solidarity. That's what gave him the power and the pride and the audacity to fight for his people. It was those businesses that gave him the funding to fight for them too. The businesses paid to get the folks out of jail, hotels for them to stay in, places to eat. It gave us money, food, and clothes to the marchers, protected the families when some of them were fired from their jobs or attacked or their houses were burned or bombed. They were there for us after slavery in Jim Crow through the civil rights movement. But as we made progress with our freedom, voting rights and integration, all that, we began to abandon our businesses and decrease our economic solidarity and diminish our entrepreneurial spirit and capacity. Dr. King saw that the more we gained politically, the more we gave up economically. He saw that we were losing our economic fight and our economic might. So in that famous mountaintop speech that he delivered the day before he was murdered, King devoted the last half of that speech to economic issues. He spoke of our collective buying power. He urged an economic withdrawal, boycotts from businesses on the record for discriminating against Black workers and mistreating Black customers. And not just that, King specifically fought for Black-owned businesses in that famous speech, not just for the right to go to white-owned segregated ones. King said, We've got to strengthen Black institutions. I call upon you to take your money out of the banks downtown and deposit it into Tri-State Bank. We want a bank-in movement in Memphis. We're just telling you to follow what we're doing. Put your money there. King said that. He asked us to support our banks and our businesses, and then he died. He was killed, and we have done nothing for our banks and businesses since. Not collectively, not as a community. We have abandoned them. We've run away from them. We dogged them out. We used to have 6,400 grocery stores, Black owned. We have 20 to 30 now. 125 thriving Black owned banks all over the country. We have less than 20 now. Only 3% of the beauty supply stores in Black neighborhoods with 100% Black clientele are owned by the Black people who live there. And we lost Black hair care too. All of the successful Black hair care brands and jobs and wealth and hope and dreams and pride, all of that is gone. We built that and it's gone. We have no capacity, no control, no way to fight back because we barely holding on. So when you think about what you can do in this new era of activism and solidarity, we all craving for and fighting for justice in these last 100 days of the year, think about where that last big fight left off. Think about what King said about economic justice, about those banks and those businesses. Think about what you can do now to realize our Dr. King's dying wish. None of us have done enough to redeem the struggles and sacrifices of our ancestors and elders. In the next 100 days, will you join me in honoring those murdered entrepreneurs, those bombed and burned down businesses, those lost grocery stores, beauty stores, iconic hair care companies that fueled our freedom and financed our fight? Will you in these next 100 days honor their memories and the memory of George Floyd and John Lewis and Ruth Ginsburg and all those murdered by or dying fighting against racism? In the next couple of years, the Black-owned businesses will disappear. They'll all be sold to white companies. This is what the CEO of Revlon, a German racist named Irving Botner, said about our Black-owned hair care companies when Newsweek asked him, was he worried about competition from them in the Black hair care industry? They'll disappear. That's what he said. That was his plan and it worked. That was his promise, his prediction to take our hair care industry from us. And he was right. We let him be right. The Black hair care industry used to provide pride and power and prosperity. We gave it away. In 2020, in these 100 days, let's take it back. The Black-owned hair care challenge is a new movement started by yours truly to take it back. We are making public commitments to buy all of our hair care from Black-owned companies and beauty supply stores. We're demanding representation in the Black hair care section at the big retailers. We are stopping those companies from tricking our people into thinking that these brands like Dark and Lovely and Carol's Daughter and The Main Choice and African Pride are Black-owned when they are not. And when I think about what may have gone through George Floyd's mind as he was being killed by racists and racism, how hopeless he must have been. I can't even imagine not doing everything I can in this year, right now, not later, now, to convert my community's pain to power. I want justice, I want power, I want change. My community has earned it with our blood and our brilliance. But I'm not asking Walmart for it. I ain't begging Amazon for it. I'm not holding my breath, waiting on Trump for it. I'm looking for it in you. In you. I took that stand to buy Black only for a year on my own, and my resolve has grown since then. So I'm gonna die fighting for Black-owned businesses and economic justice and empowerment for my people. It's worth dying for, to me. At a minimum, it's worth buying all of my hair care products from Black-owned companies and beauty supply stores. This challenge, this petition, these small gestures of love and solidarity are the least you can do now. And no racist, murdering officer, criminal justice system, educational system, or president can stop you from buying Black. Accept this challenge. Go to blackownedhaircarechallenge.com and accept it. You'll find a list of beauty supply stores and Black-owned hair care companies. You'll find all the details about this movement, our mission, because caring ain't good enough. Crying ain't either. Don't just cry, buy. Don't just cry, buy. Accept this challenge. We cannot protest, much less create power by just denouncing the system. We have to proactively, publicly, collectively support our community. We have to build up our institutions and businesses, our community and our culture, and respect ourselves if we expect anyone to do the same. We cannot fight back without buying black. This challenge is a great way to prove the power of our dollar, not these one-day blackouts which do nothing. Instead, let's prove the power of our dollar, our pride, support our businesses, showcase our culture, our excellence. Make sure you include the hashtag Black-Owned Hair Care Challenge so we can show a unified front. We have to be collective about this activism. We have to be able to measure our impact. All of that's on the website. We also have a petition demanding our fair share of the ethnic hair care aisle. Sign that petition today. Spread the word. We can bring the black hair care industry back to the black community and all the pride and the power and the prosperity that comes with it. Just go to www.blackownedhaircarechallenge.com. I'm going to check up on you. I invite you to be my guest at the Comeback Champion Summit. Go to comebackchampionsummit.com. That's 2 websites for you. Come on, we got 100 days. Will you accept the Black-Owned Hair Care Challenge? Thanks so much for watching me today. Thank you for letting me share this story and this challenge with you. I'll see you at the Comeback Champion Summit because I'm Maggie Anderson and I am a comeback champion.